Yo, what's going on, guys? It is Foxy98 here. Welcome back to my F1 2016 career mode, season 6, part 14 now, I believe this is, for the Italian Grand Prix. If you do enjoy today's video, don't forget to drop a like on it, subscribe if you're not subscribed to the channel already, and don't forget to go and click this link in the description to my second channel, where you can see me play random games over there, and don't forget to subscribe over there as well. But today, we are here for the Italian Grand Prix, and we bought a brand new engine upgrade with us, just because I felt like it, and I wanted a bit more power in the car. But today is all about redemption. Now, if you haven't checked out the last video, recommend you go check out the last video. Unfortunately, it was probably one of my worst races in my career mode ever, really. But having a look at the upgrades then, a lot of upgrades been made. So we fitted new engine power. Ferrari have upgraded their engine, reduced the drag on their car as well. So they've gone without straight line speed there for Ferrari. Sauber have upgraded their engine, improved their fuel consumption, and reduced the drag. And Haas have upgraded their engine power, and I believe it was chassis. I couldn't read it all in time. So, a few upgrades there. Now, so as you can see in the vehicle performance comparison chart, we're still behind Williams. So, Williams is still the fastest team on the grid, but we've still got an amazing car behind us. Ferrari have now taken a step forward and are a little bit further in front of Force India, trying to cement themselves as the third best team on the grid, who are still just in front of Red Bull. So, as I look at the driver's standings, the gap between myself and Bottas is 69 points after, obviously, we got taken out by Vettel in Spa, and it really was truly a race to forget for me, as the title clearly said. So, let's get on with it then. So, moving on then into the practice programs, we're here, and we are going to be going all out to try and get redemption for what happened in Belgium. We are not going to be taking any prisoners here today. We are going to show this grid why we should have done much better in Belgium, and basically fight back after disappointment, which always happens to people in their career mode. Moving on then into the qualifying simulation run, as you can see here, coming across the line now, we go and set the fastest lap time, which we always do, and we obviously beat the track parameterization as well, and you can see we get a very nice slipstream here on Button, and I just decided to overtake Jenson Button in the process, locking up going into the chicane, and then getting the job done, which was very nice. A little bit of practice there, just in case I need to overtake some people into the chicane, just practicing my overtaking there, and I thought because Jenson Button was quite far in front of me, he was in a McLaren Honda, so we obviously know how crap Honda are, so I knew I'd be able to catch him in time and test it out. And just guess what? I caught him in time. Moving on then into the session goals for qualifying. Emma wants me to qualify 4th or higher, beat Bottas and Nico Rosberg. So of course, because of the terrible qualifying that we had in Belgium, of course they've now lowered their expectations for me in qualifying, and have said that I have to qualify 4th or above rather than 3rd for above. Into Q1 then, and we were half a second slower than Felipe Massa in the first part of qualifying. I had a couple of mistakes, especially into Ascari, really just struggled there. So the Williams get a front row for Q1. Both Toro Rosso's, Manners and Sauber's out in Q1. Williams get the front row of the grid with Vettel beating me and Nico Rosberg, which is a bit concerning. Into Q2 then, as you can see, we've committed our strategy to the super soft tyres to start the race on. And of course, you can see Valtteri Bottas there with a 120.7 as the fastest lap, and we're once again half a second off the pace. But I knew where my problems were. It was into Ascari where I was really struggling, and also I always fuel the car about 4 or 5 laps more than necessary. I never have it on the lowest fuel load until Q3 because I'm trying to test out where I'm slowest first. Moving on then into Q3, and as you can see, Sebastian Vettel has set a 121.2 as his fastest lap. Now, my fastest lap is around about a 121.2, but we come across the line and we set a 120.7, my fastest lap of the weekend, and the fastest lap, until Valtteri Bottas decides to set a 120.5, but I don't think I could have asked for any more out of the car. Maybe a slightly cleaner run again into Ascari. I really did struggle into there, but it was a lot better than last time, and I'm really happy to be starting on the front row for today's Italian Grand Prix, which is obviously a lot better than in Belgium, where we started P16. So this time, we're back on the front row of the grid. So already we're making a lot of improvements in this Grand Prix than we were in the last Grand Prix. Of course, Valtteri is going to be increasing his lead in the driver rivalry, because of course, for some reason in the driver rivalry, if they set a quicker lap than you, they're better than you, which makes absolutely no sense at all. But anyway, moving on then into the session goals, Emma wants me to finish 4th or higher, beat Bottas and beat Rosberg and maintain the lead in the driver's standings, which no matter what will happen anyway. So we don't really need to worry about that. Looking then at the grid then in full, so of course it is me, it's Bottas on pole, I'm in second, about 2 tenths down, Felipe Massa there a further just exactly 2 tenths down, Rosberg about 4 tenths down, Vettel 7 tenths off the pace, and then we've got the Force Indies and the Red Bulls a second to 1.8 seconds off the pace. Alonso with a great qualifying there. Julian Palmer somehow there. Max Verstappen out in Q2, so a big shock there, just in front of Jenson Button. Then we've got the Toro Rossos, the Saubers and the Manners that accumulate the back of the grid, which is a bit depressing for Toro Rosso, I would have thought. Into the race strategy then, and for some reason, as you can see here, the race strategy around Italy is extremely weird. They want me to do a 3-stop or a 4-stop. I don't really know. Like, Italy has always been a 1-stop, a slam dunk 1-stop, no matter in real life as well. Not because of these new tyre regulations in 2017, but prior to that, it's always been a 1-stop. But for some reason on the game, it's either a 3 or a 4-stop. I don't know, but we're just going to roll with it anyway. We're going to stick to the 3-stop, which means we get to avoid the mediums, which is kind of nice. Moving on then, we have got 5 red lights here for the Italian Grand Prix, and it is lights out where we go for the Italian Grand Prix. It's been a cracking start from Valtteri Bottas. No way I was going to outdrag him into turn 1, so instead, I've covered off Felipe Massa, so he can't get a slipstream, but he does move over to the left-hand side of the circuit, and then has to pull back into the slipstream of Bottas as we go down the inside of Valtteri into the chicane, take the lead in the Italian Grand Prix. And look at that, Rosberg's taking second as well, so Mercedes 1-2, and we can fly away now from Williams here as we look to try and build our advantage here through the Curva Grande. Now you can see we're on board with Valtteri Bottas' POV here, as you can see now he's slipstreaming Nico Rosberg close to the back of Nico, but Nico manages to hold on for the time being as we've got myself there leading, Rosberg second, Bottas in third. You see we come flying through now, and then here comes the Valtteri Bottas in his flying Williams here with Rosberg, Vettel, Massa and Raikkonen all in the mix now. So as you can see here, through out of the exit of the lesbian corners, you can see now we've got myself here, and we have got the Williams now slipstreaming Rosberg. This might just be an easy move here as Bottas pulls out to the left hand side of the circuit here and down the inside into Ascari. Rosberg has actually lost the position there. He tries to fight it back though. Bottas a little bit slow at the exit, and you can see how they've messed each other up into Ascari, and all this battling is just allowing me to fly forwards now as Rosberg gets into the slipstream of Valtteri Bottas, uses that engine upgrade that obviously we put onto the car, and goes down the inside of Valtteri Bottas here into the Parabolica. Massa sneaks his way through on Valtteri as well, so all happening here at the start of the Italian Grand Prix. As you can see though, I'm flying off into the distance here. Let's look at all the drivers on the pit straight now. We've got Massa, Bottas, Rosberg, Vettel, Raikkonen and also Ricciardo there, all slipstreaming each other. You can see I'm just gingerly taking my way into turn 1 here, as now both Williams cars have flown past Nico Rosberg there, and he's been literally left for dead, as now Raikkonen is now looking for a way past Rosberg. He doesn't make it stick, and Massa and Bottas sneak in behind each other, and as you can see out front, it's me, on my own, having a nice time. I'm really having a great time here. Just going to go set a fast lap of the race so far. And basically going to go and sweat my absolute face off to win this Grand Prix after what happened in Belgium. So as you can see now, we are absolutely flying here, dominating this Grand Prix. On to lap 3 of the Grand Prix now. Going to be moving on to lap 4 of the Grand Prix. I couldn't quite pull away as much as I wanted to. Now, you're probably thinking, hang on a minute, Foxy, your gap is like 5 seconds. Oh wait, yellow flag into Ascari. Someone's obviously spun. We set the fast lap of the race of 123.7, but that's going to be overtaken by Massa. And the reason for that is because Massa and Bottas are constantly slipstreaming each other and constantly overtaking each other. And it's not kind of nice because I can't really pull away. On to lap 4 of the Grand Prix now, the virtual safety car has come out, and I have no idea why. I went onto the replay cameras, had a little look. I was like, ooh, I'm gonna get some good car explosives for the views, and there was absolutely nothing. So I was like, oh, fuck this then. I'm just not gonna bother. Into the pits then we go for our first stop here, and we fly into the pit lane because we don't use pit assist. If you complain that I don't use pit assist, I haven't used it ever since I've got the game. I've used pit assist since I've had the game. Complain. Moving on then, we are now coming out on the pits here, and we've got a Williams there in the background. I think that's Massa, because Massa's got in front of Bottas, so I think it should be Massa. If it's not, then Williams are a little bit bold and brave on their call, bringing in Bottas second. But we come out of the pits here, and we've got a very clean gap for myself as we look to press forward. We've got 3 wide there as we now fling ourselves towards the racing line here to take the good line into the chicane now. And yes, Carlos Sainz there on the mediums behind us. We've got a yellow flag down the pitch straight, and it's just disappeared because the car just teleported. Okay, whatever. Moving on then onto lap 5 of the Grand Prix now. Further on into the lap, actually, just after our pit stop, we've closed up to the back of Romain Grosjean in the Haas car, and as you can see, we are much quicker than Romain in a straight line and just everywhere on the track. So this is going to be a very easy move now, and I'm not even going to like sit around. I'm just going to let my car do all the work here. Random debris on the straight, flying through. Didn't even need to open the DRS before I flew past, and look at the straight line speed of my Merc. Goodbye, Haas driver. I have just flown past him, and I have left him for dead here in this Italian Grand Prix. Albeit he's on worn out mediums, but still, that was all done on straight line speed. Thank you very much, and I'll see you guys later. Just going to stroll onwards now in this Italian Grand Prix. Moving further on to lap 6 of the Grand Prix now, and I think we're going to come through and set the fastest lap of the race so far, which is inevitable because we did get the slipstream with DRS from Romain Grosjean, and across the line there to set a 1:22.6, which was a full second quicker than my previous best lap. And yeah, I'm having a really nice time, you know, in this race. I'm having a great time. On to lap 10 of the Grand Prix now. We'll be coming in for our pit stop. Jeff wants us to change strategy, but something that I didn't know about until now. Have a look in the top left of your screen. We've got me, Grosjean, and then Bottas. Bottas is on medium compound tyres. He is doing something completely different to what I am, and that's going to spice things up in this Grand Prix. So, I can confirm that both Massa and Bottas pitted for medium compound tyres. Why? Because it's their strategy. But that means, I guess they're going to be doing one less pit stop than me. Which means then that we've got a little bit of a problem here. Now, Massa and Bottas are already quick anyway, but if they're doing one less pit stop than me, that means they're going to get inevitable track position, because of course they've got the, you know, they've saved 20 seconds. So we now need to get our foot down, and we're now on the aggressive strategy. Normally I cut a pit stop out. However, we're doing more pit stops than the Williams team, so now we've really got to push hard here. Out of the pits we come now. We've got another Haas driver up, I believe that's Esteban Gutierrez and Jolyon Palmer now, I believe these are, as they come flying through the Curva Grande into the chicane. I'm not really bothered. I'm just going to get past the pair of them, because why not? There we go. Straight past him. Next up the road is Jenson Button. I think he's coming in at the end of this lap, though, although he has started on the medium, so he might actually go a little bit longer than I first thought. But we'll just have to see how far Jenson goes into the Lesmo now, and you can see that we get that sorted, making the charge towards Ascari now. Jenson just in front of us. He's just about there. We might be able to catch him before the DRS zone. Maybe having to use the DRS to get past Jenson, but it all depends here. Through Ascari now, we get a very clean run out through Ascari, and onto the exit now. Now, I kind of left this clip in. This is a McLaren Honda versus a Mercedes, and I'm just going to let this watch them roll on through. Slipstream, passing, bye, see you later. And that is just through on Jenson. We actually run deep, though, into Parabolica. Now Jenson's got a great opportunity to get past the Mercedes driver. I'm going to have DRS, but Jenson's going to have the power of that McLaren and the slipstream here. Here goes Jenson Button. Oh, it's not really worked, is it? Oh, that's a bit depressing, isn't it? Yeah, I don't think the McLaren's that quick. Yeah, that kind of proved it. And now Jenson's out of my way. I'm just going to kind of leave him for dust, and he can go and complain about his engine, even though he doesn't race in Formula 1 anymore. Onto lap 12 of the Grand Prix now. I'm literally just firing shots at everyone right now. I'm crazy. Onto lap 18, starting onto lap 18 now. You see that Bottas and Massa have pitted from their mediums and gone onto a set of soft tyres. The Sainz is now out of this Italian Grand Prix, and we're going to find out why, unfortunately. And as you can see here, running aboard with Carlos, and it's an engine failure, unfortunately. There's a Red Bull, I believe that's Verstappen behind him. I think that might have been Ricciardo, actually. Sainz has to pull over to the side of the track there, just out of the Lesmos, and you can see that we are now here, and this is actually our pit lap here, and this is the crucial stage now. I can't remember when Bottas and Massa pitted. Will they be able to get those soft tyres to the end? Who knows? But if they do, that means that we have to start. We're on fresh, soft tyres now. Theirs have obviously been slightly fresher, and they've been closing the gap to me. Now I've got the fresh, soft tyres. I get to make the strategy call here. So now it's time for me to get on with the job. I have got a gap which will eventually be shown when I get close to the Williams cars. I've got to close that gap down. I am now the hunter. Every single time we do these career mode races, it's always me working out a strategy to try and beat the Williams cars and stay in front of them. This time, the strategy is flipped. I'm behind the Williams cars. I've got fresh tyres. I've just got to get my head down and catch those two drivers and pass the pair of them here. So we've just got to get our heads down and let's work onto it here. So we carry on now onto lap 22 of the Grand Prix. You can see the gap between myself and Felipe is considerably closer. That's Massa there in front of you. He's very, very close. No, Felipe's pitted. Massa's gone into the pits on lap 22. Start at 23. He couldn't get those soft tyres to the end of the race. Felipe has gone into the pits and he's relinquished second place to us when maybe he could have just held on. He's gone into super soft. So in fact, Williams might not be doing the one less stop. They might have just gone onto mediums for no reason onto lap 23 of the Grand Prix now. We're about 4 seconds behind Valtteri Bottas. Surely he's not going to come into the... He's actually coming to the pits as well. That's going to be P1 then. Lap 24 of this Grand Prix, P1 of this Grand Prix. We've got a pit stops advantage over the Williams cars. Well, they've gone into their super soft tyres way too late. They put on those mediums in the middle stint. Oh, whatever, I'm going to take this one, but they couldn't get those tyres to the end. Okay, so further on now to 25. This is going to be a clean stroll to the end then. We've got no trouble. And on to lap 27 of the Grand Prix. That's exactly what. We executed a perfect strategy. We drove the living daylights out of this car, and we have in fact struck back here in the Italian Grand Prix. After the disappointments of Belgium, we've hit back hard here in Monza, and we are back in control of this World Championship, and we have taken another step closer to winning the World Drivers' Championship. Toto Wolff there on the pit wall, looking absolutely ecstatic as always as we continue to dominate in this season. A few hiccups along the way, but this is a great race victory. And Felipe Massa beat Valtteri Bottas. There were no team orders for Williams. Massa beat Bottas on track, which means that the gap has extended by 10 points. Now, Bottas took 15 points out of me in Belgium because I crashed out and he finished third. Today, I've won and he's finished third. So that means in total, the gap has only come down by 5 points in the last 2 races. So a perfect way to get back in this World Championship fight. And it's quite clear to see that the crash in Belgium has not distracted me in my fight for a world title. We are still back on track and everything is all great in the land of Mercedes, in the land of myself. But guys, if you have enjoyed today's video, don't forget to click a like on the video. But as you can see here, we've got every single person now coming onto the podium. Unfortunately, there's no Nico Rosberg. I don't know where he finished 4th, unfortunately, today. So no double podium for Mercedes-Benz. Oh, McLaren Honda finished last with Alonso DNFing. I didn't even actually show Alonso DNFing. My bad. But there it is, guys. You can see Bottas there lost out quite badly. In the driver's standings, and the gap has increased to 79 points, with the gap between myself and Massa now 95 points. So it's kind of really a 2/3 horse race, maybe, because of course Rosberg's 105 points off. That's a lot to close within second in the flyaway events. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap it up today for this F1 2016 career modes. We did exactly what we intended to do, and that was to get revenge for our loss in Belgium, and we did just that here. Stacking up the resource points, which we don't really need at this stage. Bottas unfortunately got the fastest lap, so yes, he beats me further in the driver rivalry, but I'm not really that fussed. But there you go, guys. The team are going to give me a voicemail saying they're elated and Emma wants me to come to the Amber Lounge later, which I will do. But thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, don't forget to drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new around here as well. Don't forget to click the link in the description to my second channel to subscribe over there as well. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care all. Peace.